Hi, this is Dr. Christine James hosting Organizational Leadership 3050, the second reflective seminar in the Organizational Leadership program, which is subtitled Self in Context. This is a 1-credit-hour course, and over the course of the semester what we're going to be working on with you is the idea of recording and reflecting on your experiences as leaders in perhaps your past work experience or perhaps your past experience in the military. One of the things that these courses are meant to do is help you to find theoretical frameworks that will allow you to work with the specific theories of reflective learning that are listed in your course learning modules. During Learning Module 1, we're going to introduce some of those first theories to you, but the first thing that we want to do is make sure that you're aware that in Learning Module 4 you will need to do a discussion assignment based on a particular film. So please do prepare which film you would like to use for this particular assignment. We want to make sure that you know about it now so that you have a few weeks to plan how you will access the particular film that you choose. In 3050, the two film choices right now are Barbershop or Amélie. Barbershop is a film that's really a great combination of comedy and serious ideas about gentlemen working in a barbershop in a town. And Amélie is a French film which has subtitles dealing with a young woman's progress through various stages of her life and stages of social ability that she ends up going through. So please do plan on which one of those films sounds most interesting for you that you'd like to write about during Learning Module 4. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the learning outcomes in Organizational Leadership 3050. As I mentioned before, you're going to be analyzing previous experiences from your own life, but using conceptual frameworks for reflection to understand those previous experiences. So it's kind of like you're looking at your life as a case study, and hopefully you've had some experiences of having to be a leader or having to teach someone how to do something. Perhaps you were responsible for training a new employee while you were on the job. And when you have that kind of an experience, you're going to use the ethical and theoretical frameworks that we talk about in the learning modules to understand the different phases of those kinds of leadership experiences that you've had. So as part of the process, you're applying the theoretical frameworks using the scholars that have written about reflective learning. And then you're also going to be thinking about your own self-awareness and trying to be able to sort of step outside of your own self and think a little bit about how you have learned over the course of time, over the course of your life, how to deal with those kinds of leadership experiences. So you can see how this class fits in with the whole idea of the Organizational Leadership major program. If you are saying that you're getting a degree in organizational leadership, you have to have theories that you can apply to the leadership that you've done before. So there's specific learning module components where each learning module sort of ends in certain activities that you have to show that you did in the class. And for the first learning module, you have to show that you can do an introductory discussion where you introduce yourself to the rest of the class. You're going to do a first introductory assessment tool, which is like a little quiz where you're going to answer some questions about yourself. And then there's also an introductory assignment tool. The assignment tool in our class is where you're able to upload a document and share with us specific information saved as an actual Word document. Ideally, you will be using Word. It really helps if you have your document saved either as a Word .doc, .docx, or a .rtf rich text format. So please do feel free to check in with the folks at our university help desk if you need any assistance with translating your documents. Here's how we're looking at the idea of these 1-credit-hour reflective seminars working towards the capstone course for organizational leadership. Ideally, when you do a capstone, you're summarizing the work that you've done in a number of different undergraduate level classes, and you're showing how you can have a comprehensive point of view about the theoretical frameworks that you've been studying. So in the context of these reflective seminar classes, in each learning module you're being introduced to scholars who have some kind of context that they're going to give you for how you look at the examples from your own life. One of the themes that people use in education is the idea of having a case study and a theory that you apply to that case study. That's what these 1-credit-hour seminars are all about. The idea is that we're giving you theoretical frameworks that you can use to interpret your past experience and to develop because you see yourself as an adaptive learner, as somebody who is able to adapt to new situations and show good leadership in a variety of different situations. So for this first unit, make sure that you do look in the discussion area, introduce yourself to everyone in the rest of the class. Send me a mail tool message. Mail within the class is like email, so it's private, just between you and me. And in that first mail tool to me, please do include your phone number, just in case I need to reach you during the semester. And also make sure that you're posting that first assignment tool introduction and that introductory assessment tool as soon as you can during this first learning module. The first thing that you want to be thinking about is this example that comes up in the first learning module from Dina Lieberman. Dina Lieberman is somebody who is a professional in leadership in business education, and she's discussing in a particular example how she does an exercise with her students, asking them how they would make a particularly difficult decision about allocating resources on the job. In the particular case that she's talking about, it's about a particular business that employs service people who repair electric lines. A new truck has become available, and as a leader, you're being asked to decide who is going to get the truck. Is it a case where you should think about who needs the truck the most? Is it something where you have to think about whose truck hasn't been repaired in a long period of time? There's all different ways of making that kind of a decision as an executive, as a leader. That's what Lieberman is talking about. So if you're thinking about this idea of who to try and give that truck to, you want to think about what the different standards or particular criteria would be that you would outline as ways of making that decision. And it's going to be important that you be able to justify the decision by using a particular set of standards. And of course there's multiple ways of making this kind of a decision. There's actually a comparable example that we have in the learning module where you can look at a Valdosta Daily Times article about two seniors at Wiregrass Georgia Technical College who were basically the winners of cars from that school. And one of the reasons why they won it was because they had to fill out an application, they had to show their need for that new car. So in some ways it's kind of an analogous situation to the one that Lieberman is describing. And it would be very interesting for you to tell us about similar issues or similar examples that you may have had to face in your own working experience or in your experience in the military. How do good leaders make decisions like this? How do you choose to allocate your resources? Those are the kinds of things that tell us a lot about who we are as leaders